y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and I'm sorry about it being dimly lit, but I wanted to take advantage of this beautiful skyline behind me while I was still here and record this. This is going to be my review of All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing. Um, as you could guess, I'm being here in Vegas. I'm in the MGM Grand right now recording this. I was able to go to the show live, and it was a fantastic show, so let's jump right into it. I'm going to use my phone to cheat a little bit because that way I don't forget stuff that happened and leave it out of the review. Normally at home, I have a cue card off screen to remind me and get the order right. But anyway, I digress. If you haven't seen any of my shows before, I rate everything on a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. So let's jump right in with the buy-in pre-show. We had the Casino Battle Royale, which I thought was a cool concept. I liked how they did it with the different suits. There were some great surprises in there. Tommy Dreamer, Hangman Page being the 21st guy, Billy Gunn, Orange Cassidy, who I didn't go to StarCast, so I didn't know that Orange Cassidy had signed and was going to be in this, so that was a surprise to me. Some guys that really stood out in the match: Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, MJF, really stood out. Probably the biggest heel of the night all night long. Um, Marco Stunt, of course, he stood out. It was just a fantastic opening. Jimmy Havoc was in it. I mean, just a litany of really great wrestlers. Came down to Adam Page winning. I'm going to give this, to start it off, I'm going to give this a 4. I thought this was excellent. I love Battle Royals, and this one was a really fun one to start it off. Now, next up, we had our second of the pre-show matches, or the buy-in matches. Kip Sabian versus Sammy Guevara. And wow, Sammy really played the heel up here. I know he kind of delved into that on the Being the Elite series, but in matches I've seen with him, I haven't seen that he's explored that often, so was a little bit surprised with that, how good he played the heel character. I thought this was a good match. I maybe would have reversed the order because to me this didn't hype up the show as much as the Battle Royal did. Kip Sabian picked up the win. I'm going to give this match a 3. I thought it was good. I liked the Battle Royal better. Now we're going to jump right into the main event of the night. And we had SCU versus the Strong Hearts, which is from OWE in China, SEMA's organization. I thought this was a really good match again. I liked what they did here. Great opener for those that didn't watch the pre-show and maybe just watch the pay-per-view. I thought this was a good way to show it. Lots of spots going on, lots of craziness, of course, as you would expect. I thought it was a strong match, a strong opener. I liked SCU picking up the win. I kind of thought the Strong Hearts would go over, but, I guess it works out in the way it worked out. I'm going to give this match a 3 as well. I thought this was a good match. Not a great match, but solid. Next up, we had what was announced to be our 3-way dance for the women's match. It was going to be Kylie Rae versus Nyla Rose versus Britt Baker. And before we get on to the big thing that happened here, Kylie Rae got an amazing reaction. I like her. I think she's an awesome wrestler. I'm a really big fan of hers. I was a little bit surprised at how great the reaction to her was, and it was a really good one. I enjoyed that. Before the match starts, we get Brandy Rose coming out, and she announces that this could be a great match, but she wants it to be an awesome match. And then she announces Awesome Kong, and the place just lost their shit when that happened. I mean, I was up fucking jumping up and down and cheering. Oh my god. How amazing is it to see Awesome Kong back in the ring? And she's amazing. I mean, she's exactly what the words say. She's awesome. She's exactly what she delivered. This match was amazing. I loved every bit of it. Britt Baker picked up the win. I'm going to give this match a 4. I thought it was really good. Really awesome match. A really good start for the women's division. Now, next up, we had the best friends, Chuck and Trent versus Angelico and Jack Evans. This match, I think, suffered a little bit crowd wise. I don't think as many people knew who Angelico or Jack Evans were. A lot of people in the section are in had no clue who they were. Basically, because they haven't been on the Being the Elite stuff much, but there's going to be that section of people. I understand that. I thought the match itself was really good. I enjoyed it. I think these guys match up well. It bodes well to show that there is a strong tag division here, something that WWE lacks, and something that if they want to differentiate themselves, something they could really, really go on here is having the tag division and the women's division being extremely strong. Best friends pick up the win. Afterwards, we see they're going to show respect and hug each other. Lights go out, and the Super Smash Brothers appear. Now, at first, I didn't know who they were because it was quick and they had a little bit of a different look. And then the lights go out again, and a bunch of random goons that are dressed up like the Smash Brothers come out. I thought this was a good spot. This is one part of the night I was a little bit ashamed of the fans, where the fans were basically chanting, "Who are you?" at the Super Smash Brothers. I mean, I know they're not as big as the other teams that are involved here, but still, it kind of felt a little disrespectful. It kind of felt, I don't know, to me it felt like they deserved better than that treatment, if you could say so. Match, everything, I give this match a 3. I thought it was good. Solid match on the show. A solid tag team match. I rather enjoyed it. Next up, we had the Joshi exhibition or Joshi show-off match, a 6-woman match. And I know I'm going to murder these names, so again, I am sorry. I don't watch Joshi wrestling as closely as I probably should. There's some amazing talent out there, but I just don't have enough time. We had Hikaru Shida, Riho Abe, and Ryo Mizunami versus Aja Kong, Yuka Sakazaki, and Emi Sakura. And like I said, I knew I was going to butcher every bit of that. I was super excited to see Aja Kong because I do know who she is and I have seen her work before. And some of the girls I have recognized from seeing their matches, like I said, I don't watch a lot of Joshi, but I've seen some, so I've seen some of these women before. And the match was actually really, really good. Without there being a storyline, without there being a prior knowledge, I thought it went well. The match itself, I thought was really, really solid. I'm going to give this of course, I'm sorry. Shida, Abe, and Mizunami picked up the win. I give this match a 3. It was what it was. Without there being any real story or me knowing anything about it, kind of took away a bit. Kind of just felt like an exhibition, not anything serious. But it's a great way to introduce these people to a Western audience. Now, next up, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to talk about this properly. My favorite match of the night. Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes. And to say this was emotional, to say this pulled out your heartstrings, to say this made you feel everything a wrestling match can make you feel is an understatement. This may have been the best match I've been to live in my entire life. Between the actual match itself, the viciousness of it, the story they were telling, who it is, the two wrestlers who were fantastic. Everything about this was purely amazing. Cody's entrance, destroying the throne chair that looked like it was Triple H's symbol with a sledgehammer, kind of a symbolism, throwing a warning shot or a first shot out there. Dustin Rhodes bleeding buckets all over the place. Oh man, this was such an emotional journey. It's such an emotional match. At the end of it, I'm standing up clapping and crying in a crowd full of 14,000 people, I'm crying my eyes out because of how beautiful this was and how great this story was. We see Dustin look like he's going to take off his boots afterwards after Cody picked up the win. And Cody comes back in the ring and he says, look, I have a match with the Young Bucks. I can pick a partner of my choosing. He's... I'm getting choked up thinking about it. He says, I don't want a partner. I don't want a friend. I need a brother. I need my big brother. And I can't even say it here without breaking up. It's so... What an emotional moment. The crowd was cheering Dusty, which I was wearing a Dusty Rhodes shirt. He's one of my biggest... I'm a huge Dusty Rhodes fan, and Cody and Dustin as well. Oh, this match was so perfect to me. I give this a 5 out of 5. This is everything you could possibly want out of a wrestling match. Now, as I breathe in a little bit, we come out next with the title presentation. Oh, and I forgot to mention, DDP came out and took Brandy Rhodes out of the Dustin and Cody match when Earl Hebner threw her out. God, so much went on. It's so hard to put it all into a review because it was almost a sensory overload. Next up, we had the world title presentation to show the fans what the world title is going to look like. Bret the Hitman Hart came out with what a goddamn surprise. Crowd went crazy again, of course, because this is one of the all-time greats. And we see Adam Page, he calls Adam Page come out. We see MJF come out, trash talk a bit. I felt that went a little bit long for the segment, but I get what they're doing, establishing MJF as the big heel of the company. Jungle Boy and Jimmy Havoc, which was weird in the arena. When Jungle Boy came out to confront MJF, they showed Jimmy Havoc's Titantron thing, so kind of felt like you knew Jimmy Havoc was going to come out. Eventually, we get the three face characters running them off. Bret Hart shows off the belt, which the belt looks fantastic. It's a beautiful belt. God, that's what a world championship should look like. No knock on anybody. We all know that other companies have bad-looking championships. That one is what it should look like. I thought that was fantastic. It was so good. So well done. Nice little segment. For a segment, I'm going to give it a 3, just because it went a little bit longer than I thought it should. But I thought that was really great. Now, next up, we have our one championship match of the night for the AAA Tag Team Championships. The Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks. And this was another fantastic match. Again, very much highlighting the tag team wrestling is important to AEW. I like this a lot. Oh, these guys went all out. They did everything in their arsenals. The Young Bucks at one point paid tribute to the Motor City Machine Guns, doing a sliced bread, Doomsday sliced bread, I guess you call it. I forget what the Machine Guns call it. I'm sorry. It's been a very long weekend. There's a lot of flying and getting here from Florida. And in about an hour, I'm going to be checking out my hotel to go back to Florida. Another 6-hour flight. Or, I'm sorry, 5-hour flight. But anyway, that's a different story for a different day. This match was so fantastic. I loved every second of it. It was a little bit of a spot fest, but I still enjoyed the match very well. I was a little bit shocked at who won. I did not expect the Young Bucks to win here. But with AAA having the Madison Square Garden show coming up, maybe they want the Young Bucks to be there to help sell tickets. So I guess that's what they were doing here. As I said, Young Bucks picked up the win. The match was fantastic. I give this match a 4. I really, really, really enjoyed this match. It was so good. Another great example of a tag team match. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bump that up. I give this a 5. It was exactly what we needed in this show. And it was so fantastic. So great. Next up, we come to the main event of the night: Alpha versus Omega 2, Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega. And wow, just wow. Their entrances were amazing. The vibe in the building was so crazy. In such a long show, at this point it was like 4.5 hours into the show, and the crowd was still crazy into it. Um, it shows just how great these two wrestlers are, and how important of a match this is, and how fantastic it was. It's like I told my friend Sean, who came to the show with me, who actually had to leave just a bit ago because we couldn't get the same flight back. He booked later than I did, so he had to fly. He flew out earlier than I'm flying out. Um, but anyway, I turned to him and I said, this is as close as we're going to get to two of the top 10 wrestlers of all time in their prime wrestling each other and being able to be there. And they delivered. They really delivered. God, what a good match. I think this was better than their first encounter, which, of course, you kind of think it might be. A lot of times, the second and third time, the more people get, familiar with their opponent, the better the matches end up being. So, again, I thought this was a great match. I really enjoyed this. I liked what they did here. It was just enough hardcore stuff, a lot of technical wizardry. Surprisingly, Jericho picks up the win with the Judas Effect elbow, which looks goddamn fantastic in a person. I give the match a 5. Afterwards, we see Jericho saying what he's been demanding all along, that they thank him publicly, and that doesn't happen because before Kenny Omega can do anything, there's a disturbance in the crowd, and Jon Moxley starts coming down the stairs, kind of. I don't know if it was an homage to his Shield days or just that's how he had to come in through the crowd. There wasn't a lot of entrances and exits at the MGM Grand. A little surprising for how big of an arena it is. So yeah, I understood that maybe that was the only place he could have came from and been a surprise, which made sense. Came down, wreck shop. He hits the double arm DDT on Jericho, then on the ref, then on Kenny, and then him and Kenny, he tries to get on Kenny, and then him and Kenny brawl over to the side of the set where there's a stack of chips, like poker chips, and they brawl to the top of that. He hits the DDT on top of the poker chips, and then basically throws Kenny off through the stage, and that's the end of the show. What a fantastic thing. Kind of, they lulled me into not thinking that he would appear here. I was in full expecting Jon Moxley at some point. But by the time it got to the end and the end of the match, I was like, okay, Moxley's not going to be on the show. That's cool. Still, without him, it would have been a very amazing show. Moxley added a little bit to it. My friend Sean, again, I reference him because we talked about this. He's a newer fan. He's only been wrestler for watching wrestling again for a few years. He watched as a kid, stopped for several years, and now he's come back to it. And he hadn't seen Moxley on the independents. He only seen his Dean Ambrose work. And I asked him because I thought it was interesting because I felt it myself. Did Moxley feel different than Ambrose? And he agreed, yes. That he feels, as Ambrose, he felt like he was corporate crazy. Whereas Moxley, he feels like he's really the loose cannon crazy character. And it made a lot of sense exactly what he was saying because that's exactly what I was feeling and thinking. And this fantastic way to end the show. I fully enjoyed everything I seen. This was such a great experience. I'm so happy that I decided to come out and do this and be here live. This was friggin' amazing. If they could keep this level of show up, they will have no problem being a huge wrestling company going forward. And I'm not even going to go into the war between them and WWE. I'm just saying that if they can keep it at this level, they really have something good here, and the fans are really going to benefit from that. Overall, the experience, the show, the matches, the whole vibe, the crowd was amazing. I give the show a 5. I don't think you could have came out swinging any harder than they did here, and this was awesome. It delivered on every single level, emotionally, visually. I mean, it's like I said, it was almost sensory overload. This was such a great show. I am so happy I got to be a part of this. I'm so happy that I was here in Vegas for this. But basically, that's what I have to say. Sorry about the light quality and probably the noise quality of this, but like I said, I wanted to take advantage of this. All that, well, it doesn't look so beautiful. It's just buildings, but there's buildings and mountains and everything. It's such a beautiful city. But anywho, I digress. Thank you for watching. Do all the things that all the other YouTubers say, like, comment, share, ding the bell, all that crazy crap. My name is George Coles, and this has been my review of All Elite Wrestling's first official show, Double or Nothing.